Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we're going to be doing the July general predictions reading, and I have some lovely crystals on each pile. I've kept the mat as white so that I can use the transparent tarot for pile 1. But yeah, I have a lovely new deck which I want to share with you all. This is from the very lovely Mia. Thank you so much for the gorgeous Yogic Path Oracle. Really high quality cards. Really beautiful imagery as well. And I'm learning new yoga terms from it every single day, so I'll be including that in today's reading. So thank you so much, Mia, for your kindness in sending in that lovely, lovely deck. So it's quite a straightforward reading today. It's the July general predictions, so we are focusing on whatever comes in. We're not narrowing ourselves down to any particular area of your life. We're seeing what comes through, what the important messages are regarding July for you right now. So what you need to know, what you can look forward to, any advice, what you can expect, just all of those things. So with that being said, let's take a look at the piles more closely. So over on group 1, I have this blue Aragonite and, as I said before, the transparent tarot. And I always think this crystal looks like a beach with the sandy colours and the beautiful waves and the foam. Really love holding that one. Then on group 2 we have this Abalone shell and the Fey Tarot. And on group 3 we have Serpentine and the Everyday Witch Tarot. So whichever pile or piles is really calling out to you, choose that one and that will be the accurate reading for you. Don't just choose your favorite crystal or deck, choose the one that you feel really, really drawn to. There might be a time where you feel like you can't pick between two piles. That's fine, you can watch both. You might find in that case that one pile is like your main reading and the other one just gives you a few extra messages, or that it's more evenly split, like 50-50 resonates from each pile. As always, take what resonates in each reading and leave what doesn't. This is not a private reading, it is a general reading on YouTube. It's got to fit a lot of people's situations, so if there's anything that just doesn't seem right or doesn't quite speak to you but the rest of it is resonating, then just let that message go with love and know that it's here for someone else. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of my lovely subscribers and to all of my lovely patrons as well, including Kelly, Alexandra, Cara, Mia, Amy, Alison and Lena. Thank you so much to all of you for your kindness and the love that you show towards the channel. So with that being said, take as much time as you need. I will be ready with pile number 1 once you've chosen. If you feel like you need to watch the close-ups again, then just scroll back through the video or go back to the beginning and watch it all in real time again. And when you're ready, I will be starting with pile number 1, which is the blue Aragonite and the transparent tarot. Hey there group 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose the lovely blue Aragonite and the transparent tarot, this is going to be your reading. We'll see what's coming up for you in July. So like I said in the introduction, this is your general predictions reading for July, so it's whatever comes through. Any advice, anything to expect or look forward to, anything that you need to be aware of. Interesting. Okay, group 1. So you have the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You also have the 7 of Cups, the Devil, Capricorn, and the High Priestess. So this is a really interesting message. It feels like you've come to a bit of a crossroads, or that you're in a bit of a quandary, group 1, because it feels like you're aware that you can't keep going down your current path because it is restricting you or limiting you in some way, and you're aware that you're having to make some pretty serious changes or some pretty significant decisions, and that's quite scary. So with the 7 of Cups, I can see that you've got like lots of different potential paths or potential choices that you could make. It's not just like a 1 or 2 yes or no option like it would be with, for example, the Two of Swords. This is like a real, I'm not really sure what all of my options are even. Like, it's not a clear-cut decision. It's like there's so many variables, or there's so many things that would affect my decision making in this situation. So I think the biggest piece of advice in July, group one, is to be brave. The Queen of Swords there is showing you needing to be brave, needing to cut through the chains that are holding you back, whether it's a very physical thing like a job or a situation, or whether it's a mental thing like sort of confidence issues, mental limitations, spending patterns, other kinds of behaviors. It's like you need to say to yourself, okay, this is going to be hard, like not just making the decision, but actually then cutting that tie is going to be really, really difficult. And in the aftermath, I'm sure it's going to be hard not to go back to whatever it was. But I need to be brave and do that because I'm doing this for me. There's a really strong independent feeling with the Queen of Swords. So there's a need to be independent. And the High Priestess suggests that this is part of your kind of spiritual growth. And again, it's kind of pointing towards this being something you need to do for yourself. So whereas in other readings I might say, turn to friends and family for support, it feels more like this is part of the reason why you have to do this is because you need to learn it on your own. Does that make sense? It's like you're having to step up by yourself and say, this is what I want, or I'm not going to be treated this way anymore, or I won't stay in this situation that's limiting me anymore, and only I can make the decision to end that because it's a job, and so my friends can't stop it for me, or my family can't get involved, or only I can make the decision to move out of this area, or whatever it is. It's like you've got to own the responsibility for it, or make that decision, and that's tough. But this is a big kind of soul lesson or life lesson for you, group one, being able to make that choice, because it then gives you a lot more, I feel, confidence in your own decisions. So I'm really interested to see what your oracle cards are going to say, because that's such a curious start to your reading. Sorry, we'll just move those down for you. You can see that Devil card really strongly, like the chains holding you back, and also because they're chains from like every direction as well, it kind of evokes the Seven of Cups that is underneath it. This, how do I even begin, or which way do I even move in, because I feel like I've blockaded myself into a corner. Okay, so we have Pratyahara. This is a card I haven't pulled yet, so I'm going to need to look in the guidebook for this one. Interesting how he seems to be, or she seems to be in like a desert, and then there's water coming down, because that's kind of how I view the situation that you seem to be in when you enter July. This feeling of like, I'm blocked in and there seems to be no way out, but then suddenly out of nowhere, I'm able to bring about a change to my situation. So Pratyahara in the guidebook says 8 stages of yoga, control of the senses. Recently, you've let go of some distractions in your life and everything has upgraded since. You've realized that holding on to things, foods, stimulants, or people only keeps you anchored to the physical world. Truth lies in letting go of all that is not you. The daily coffee, piece of chocolate, social media addiction, or need to buy, those were once such a part of your identity but have now diminished. That's interesting because I did mention spending habits as being something that you might need to change, so it's interesting how it says the need to buy. This is the time to go deeper into Pratyahara and let go of any attachments, even those that are less obvious. Continue to meditate, which draws you immediately into Pratyahara and illuminates what it is that you are now holding on to. It is only from here that you can listen to the truth within and act accordingly. So that's really interesting. Definitely there's a message about pulling back from things, or recognizing what is limiting you or holding you back and choosing to move on from that. So here we have number 73, glücklich sein, being happy. or happiness. And number 29, pech, bad luck. So it's like choosing to be optimistic about your situation or make the most of a difficult situation, or choosing not to be like, I don't want to say moping, because I really don't feel like you're just feeling sorry for yourself in a situation. I do think that there are genuinely things that you're unhappy about and you want to change them, but it's a big ask. It's not just something that can completely change overnight. So I think it's more just about perspective. Like I said, I don't think you're moping or just being miserable for the sake of it, but I think it's kind of showing how in July you choose to be more positive about your situation and about your future, because that then sort of changes your motivation levels, your energy shifts, you're able to get more done when you're in that positive, optimistic space rather than in the sad, looking down space, which kind of mutes your energy. So a healthy dose of motivation comes through for you in July, especially if you've been lacking it recently. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution, expression. Okay. And birthing a new age. Birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So definitely a big message of new beginnings for July, because you are cutting yourself off from these limitations and you're moving on from things that have held you back or things that wanted to harm you or limit you. You're speaking up, you're speaking your truth. It could be that you're finally handing in your resignation and, making it clear what you didn't like about that job, not in like an accusatory way that might affect future references from that job, but just like you're saying, look, this is why I'm leaving. I have genuine grievances, or I haven't been listened to, and so it's not that I didn't like the job itself, but I didn't like the way I was managed, or I felt like I wasn't valued as a member of the team. Like, there's a way of getting your point across and feeling like you've had your opportunity to speak up without it coming back to bite you. Dove of Peace, number 10, stay in the heart, all is well, be at peace. I love that card. And I think this does fit with the Pratyahara card, how it was talking about really letting go of attachments and letting go of negative perspectives, choosing to find that sense of peace and optimism and hope within a difficult situation. Because even if you've decided to make a change or you've started to move towards that change, it doesn't mean that you have managed to turn the situation around overnight. There's always going to be that interim period where your mind is made up and you've started taking steps towards it, but the situation hasn't yet reached its closing point. Your love message in July is wedding. This situation involves marriage. So there's a lot of different ways to read this card. I often see it just as pointing towards commitment more generally. So you could be in a committed relationship and that's going to be a source of support for you in July. It could be that you're just thinking more clearly about what you want from relationships in the future. You might have maybe been in a relationship recently, maybe even that's what the devil message is in this particular reading, that is holding you back, and you can tell that this person doesn't want to move things forward with you, and that's deeply painful, and it's taken a while to realize that, and you feel like you've lost some time by holding on to that connection. But now that you're aware of it, you can cut your losses, move on, because you know that you want marriage or you want children or commitment in the future, and it's unlikely that you're going to get it from that person. So that's one way that I would read the wedding card, is sort of more about future plans. Could even be that someone in your close circle, your family or your friends, is getting married or is getting engaged or is having a baby, moving in together, some kind of announcement or celebration in July. And it's often those things that can help put our minds into perspective. When we see how other people are moving on, or when we see what someone achieves, it can motivate us to move forward with our own goals when we look at our own lives and think, why haven't I got that? Stellar gateway activation, infinite potential, manifestation vortex. So there's a real creative feeling in July, not like creative necessarily in the sense of art, but creative in the sense of bringing something new into creation, birthing new ideas. Seems like your manifestation ability is heightened in July, so be very careful of what you're focusing on, thinking about, how you talk about your plans, how you talk about yourself and your life, because they are more likely to come into manifestation more quickly and more easily in July. Peacock spirit, let it shine. Number 46. I love that. And I think that's sort of connected to the share your voice message. This is your chance to speak up and be seen and be heard and be counted, you know, to stand up and be noticed. Really nice. Interesting as well how you've got 2 bird cards, the Dove of Peace and now the Peacock Spirit. I associate birds with freedom, but also often with wisdom as well. Number 11, changed in the night. You have changed quickly. And I think this is referring to what I said about you might not change the situation overnight, but your decision comes quite quickly. So I genuinely think there could be a situation where you're talking with a friend and you realize how different your lives are and you want more of what they've got. Not in like a jealous way, but just in the sense of like, that's how my life should be because we're the same age, or you're younger than me, or we've kind of had similar starts in life, and so I feel like we should be on the same page. You know, it could be a sibling getting married, or it could be a family member landing a brilliant new job, and you think, do you know what? I could do that as well. And instead of letting it get you down, like sometimes these announcements can make us feel really disheartened about ourselves, it's like you use that as a motivator to spur you on. So it feels as though you're sort of going along, making the most of your situation, or making the best of a bad situation perhaps, and maybe not fully acknowledging all of the issues that are present in your current situation. And then overnight you realize, no more of this, I need to make changes, or I'm not happy with this thing and I need to start working more towards what I do want in that area of my life, and this is how I'm going to do it. So the decision comes very suddenly, I think. Number 20, nothing real can be threatened. How can you actively participate in creating heaven on earth? That's lovely. I think that points back towards the messages of peace as well. I think there's a fear of things going wrong, but I don't think it's a fear that you need to really hold on to or need to put much significance on. Your advice card is Epiphany, which is the Hermit card. In this deck, Archangel Raziel, joy through spiritual growth, be a light to others, answers that come through meditation. So this really nicely ties up the card part of your reading. We're going to move on to your charms and dice now. But I think the Hermit and the High Priestess are quite similar in many ways, so that connects it back to your spiritual growth message. And also the fact that it says answers that come through meditation, when this is literally what this card was about, to meditate and realize what you need to let go of, or to release attachments through more time spent in meditation or prayer, and therefore connecting to spirit and spending less time focused on the physical world. So I think that's really nice as a way to tie up that aspect of your reading. So let's look now at your charms, and then we'll do your dice. We'll see what extra messages they can give us. Okay, so from your charms, we have the wasp, which is this feeling of being hurt, feeling like something stings, something's hurt me, something is painful. Okay, so that could be what we were talking about potentially comparing yourself to someone else, or someone else's happiness or celebration shines a light on what you feel is lacking in your own life. It could be that this is just a realization of how things have not been serving you recently or haven't been going in your favor, or how you've been stuck in a situation that just doesn't seem to improve. So that's something to think about. We've got the flamingo up here, which is about finding your other half. So it does seem like for a lot of you this is connected to love, or like your partner can be a source of support for you, as I mentioned earlier. The skeleton in the closet, something from your past which causes you pain or shame, guilt, fear, something that you don't want to talk about in your past, potentially being alluded to or resurfacing in some way in this month. Pisces energy with this little fish. This is a message of going with the flow, not forcing things. The mustache here represents the divine masculine. A masculine who can be helpful to you, or a supporter of yours, or who is kind of significant in this period of your life. And finally, the letter W. You can take this as a letter, an initial, if you want to, like someone whose name begins with W, or a place or a word that begins with W that comes to you intuitively through seeing that, but also with it being the only black W in the deck, I have 2 sets of alphabets in pink and blue, and then just this one as an extra one. I use this as a wish charm. So if you want to pause the video and make a wish while looking at this charm, please do. Kind of always take that as an opportunity to make a wish. You sort of get a free wish with that charm. So let's get your dice. I like how that particular charm landed on this card as well. Okay, we're rolling the 10th set of dice for you, the Scooby-Doo dice. And we're rolling all 9 of them for you. Okay. Okay, what have we got? Okay, so yeah, we've got the 2 doorways here, you know, like when they're in Scooby-Doo, they're running away from a villain and they kind of go separate ways, or when they're searching somewhere and they decide to split up and go separate ways. This is kind of what I'm saying about you reaching this crossroads and thinking, well, where do I go from here? You know, what can I do to get away? What's the best option? What's the best path to take? We have the explosion, something happening suddenly, something that maybe takes you by surprise, or that is very significant and comes out of nowhere. I think this is to do with the way your mind changes, or the way you very quickly seem to reach a decision that you hadn't really thought much about in recent times. We have also got the, what is this called? One of those things in a mine. Very nostalgic Scooby-Doo, where they have to use both, it might be a pulley actually, both sides of the pulley or the lever to get away really quickly. I think of fast progress when I see that, but I also think of teamwork, and that is kind of summarized by how you've got both Scooby and Shaggy in your reading. So it does seem like there's a very special person who's a source of support for you, this other half figure. Maybe it is a romantic partner, maybe it is a best friend or a sibling, a parent, someone who's really, really close to you. But it feels like someone is going to be there for you, like one specific person to be your kind of fallback person when you need to rant, or when you need to explain how difficult things have been or how stressful things have been for you recently, or when you just need someone to be there, even if you're not talking about what's been going on, you know, just having someone there and you can spend time with them and it takes your mind off the difficulties and also makes you feel supported. We've got the Wolfman. I think it's really interesting how that's landed on the card saying changed in the night. Just a very sudden change, which might even represent like a 180, like I said, or something that really isn't expected by you, like a real shift in mindset based upon something that's happened or something someone said or something they've done. The painting where someone is watching from behind, it's like a kind of screen and someone's eyes follow you. With this one, I think of people sort of, I guess, watching us, not in like a creepy way, but when we're really aware of other people's expectations of us or how other people see us. We're really worried about how we come across to others. That's how I interpret that dice. Then we have this stone head, a bit like the Easter Island heads, just sort of makes me think of a power totem or a guardian, or even like a talisman, some kind of protective symbol, even if it's like a crystal or a sigil that you draw, something that you draw power from or that you feel protected when you carry it around, or which you wear to remind you of the mission that you have. That might be interesting if you, for example, are trying to overcome an addiction or trying not to spend money or trying to remind yourself not to text the ex. You could have some kind of talisman that when you look at it, it sort of gives you that strength and reminds you of what you need to do when you feel like you're wavering or like you're really struggling with your decision. And then we have the ring, which is kind of similar, like sort of wearing something or carrying around a talisman. It also just makes me think of magic. And also a little bit of curses. You might feel like you've had a real run of bad luck recently and that things are just unlikely to get better. But I do think that change is going to happen quite suddenly for you, and that it starts off when you really make a big decision in July to start changing things. It's like you really are prompted to take a step back and see how things are and really evaluate that from an objective perspective, and you decide this could be improved, that could stop, this could, you know, really increase in my life, I could do with a lot more of that. And you just sort of audit your life, I guess, from a detached perspective, without the emotion and without the self-judgment or self-censorship or the feeling of what you should be doing. You sort of instead see what you want to be doing, and I think that will really improve your life if you can stick at it, Group 1, because it's an awareness that I think you've been pushing aside or lacking or not wanting to confront in recent times because it's been difficult to face up to. So I hope this makes sense to you, Group 1. It's a really interesting reading, very, very specific and really encouraging as well. And you've got some lovely messages and some gorgeous colours in your card as well. Purple seems to be a really big colour for you. So there's that spiritual aspect tying in with it again. Thank you so much for being here. Please do like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because it really helps me out and it means that you never miss out on any videos that I upload in the future. Check out my links below if you're interested in my work and you want to get more involved in what I do. I have a Patreon page where I post all kinds of interesting things, and I'm also teaching astrology over there as well. I've got my Etsy shop for private readings and healing sessions and other services. I have my wish lists below for new tarot and oracle decks if you want to be kind like the lovely Mia. I also have my PayPal link if you want to leave a tip or a donation. That would be very much appreciated. And I have a couple of other links below that you might want to look at in case that interests you. So thank you so much again for being here, Group 1. Have a lovely July and a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, Group 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose the beautiful Abalone shell and the Fey Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So let's see what's coming up for you in July. As I said in the introduction, it is a general reading, so we're not focusing on any particular area of your life, we're just open to whatever comes through. Group 1's reading was very specific, so I'm curious to see what yours is going to be like. Group 2, please subscribe if you haven't already. That way you never miss out on any new videos that I upload, and you also really help me out as well. Okay, so we have the moon, Pisces energy. Then we have the wheel of fortune, the Two of Wands, and the Queen of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, and then Pisces again. So Pisces is coming out very strongly, but all of the water signs are present, and we might get some more as we go through the reading. So it's an interesting opening to your reading. I can see that July is going to be a time of very positive change for you. It's going to be a time of growth. I can see you moving forward with your goals. And I think it's to do with something that really brings you a great deal of fulfillment. On an emotional level, it feels like this is something that really speaks to you. It's not just that you're going after something for the money or the status, or it's something that you have to do. It's something that you really, really want to achieve. So this could be to do with love and relationships, obviously, because it is a Cups card that we get at the end there, or it could be to do with a job that is really fulfilling on the emotional level. It could be finding new friends. It could be achieving some kind of personal goal or skill that you really, really want to do, or you've long since wanted to try or take to the next level, and it really makes you feel great to do that because you really enjoy it. I can see that the moon sort of suggests that in the early days of July you feel quite hesitant about this. The moon suggests that there's this feeling of, am I going to be able to achieve this? Am I good enough? Or am I making the right decision by choosing to pursue this? There's a little bit of doubt or hesitancy or anxiety that comes up with that card. But I do think with the Queen of Cups being there, and of course the Wheel and Two of Wands, that this is going to be a positive outcome. So we'll see what your oracle cards have to say. Start out with the new Yogic Path Oracle. Group 2. Okay, so we have Pranayama, beautiful card, and Svadhyaya, both of which I'll need to look up in the guidebook because I haven't pulled these ones before. Let's see what they have to say. I like the butterfly imagery on this card. Pranayama, let's look for that one first. Okay, so this one says 8 stages of yoga, control of breath. It says you've inhaled the beauty, joy, and magnificence of life and exhaled the toxicity, stagnancy, and dullness. Now it is time to use the prana, energy, you have cultivated deeper towards your truth. With this control of the breath, you can control your life. So where would you like it to go? If you're seeking more rest, tranquility, and luxury, breathe slower. If you're seeking more energy, speed, and rajas in your life, breathe faster. Through pranayama, controlled breath, you can decide how you want to feel and when. Begin the study of various pranayama practices, such as alternate nostril breathing and breath of fire. Use it in your life to magnetize your direction. So that's interesting. It's about consciously controlling the direction that you move in, being aware of the sort of power that you have over your environment. So this could be as simple as choosing to say, like, I acknowledge that I have these anxieties or these doubts or these worries about what could happen, but I'm choosing not to let them influence my choices or influence my behavior. I'm choosing not to let them hold me back. And then Svadhyaya says self-study. We were each born with a book of infinite wisdom, stories, inventions, and emotions. This book is our own consciousness. If we take the path to truly studying the self, we will never become bored with our findings. Instead of trying to acquire more information, take the focus inward. There are cosmoses in your consciousness you have yet to venture into that have more beauty than any artwork, more mystery than your favorite thriller, more magnificence than all earthly creations. However, the passport required to reach these vistas is stillness. Through withdrawing from external stimulus, you can move into the true stimulus, the world inside and beyond you. Now, this definitely fits with the Queen of Cups message, because even just in the imagery, you can see that she's right at the bottom of a really, really deep body of water. And so that fits in with this message of going within. Both of these cards point towards controlled breathing and going within and seeing what there is to find when you quiet the external voices. So that seems to be a conscious focus in July, is turning inwards for that guidance or that security that you might have grown used to finding in the people around you. Soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. That's lovely. You can have support, but it's important to know that you're making these decisions for yourself and not from anyone else. Serious star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. I love that card. That is a big yes to move forward with your plans. So if you have been wondering, should I do this? Should I not? Like I said with the moon, that hesitancy, that self-doubt, that fear, then that is a big yes. It's a big confirmation from the universe. You were made to watch this reading so that you would get that green light, that go ahead. That's wonderful. So obviously that fits the wheel and the Two of Wands. It's definitely time to push ahead with plans in July and to take control of your own mindset and how that influences your thoughts and your feelings and your decision making. Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit, number 17. Definitely makes sense. I mean, I feel like some of these cards are almost saying the same thing from different angles. It does seem like it's going to be a very spiritual month for you, because I see you focusing consciously more on your spiritual practice, whether that's normal for you or whether it's a real change from your regular routine. But even on the level where you're not sort of sitting in meditation or prayer or doing yoga or anything, even when you're working towards your goals or you're at work or you're interacting with your loved ones, Spirit is still present there within your life. And I think you're going to notice that a lot more in July. The synchronicities, the helping hands, the recognition of things that have come to you in prayer and meditation, and which then show up in your daily life, little markers and reminders, a bit like this big message here, messages from the universe. So your love message in July is give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. So for those of you in relationships, give your loved one a chance. They may not always say the right thing or do what you need them to do, but they are still loving. I think for some of you, this is pointing more towards other people though. There might have been a falling out with a friend or a family member, or you're starting to doubt whether that person really cares about you. And this is saying give them another chance in July to redeem themselves or to explain or to be forgiven. This card can also come up in not in established relationships, but also in sort of early stage connections. So it could be that someone has, for example, asked you out on a date at some point in July and you're really not sure about them. You're like, I'm not sure if that's the kind of person I would be interested in, but this is saying give them a chance. They really might surprise you. So here we have number 3, Aufopferung, which is like self-sacrifice or victimhood, where we sacrifice ourselves for another. And then we have number 12, Grauen, which is cruelty, or kind of like a burden. So it feels like there's a call to pull away from, like I'm seeing this not as like one situation, but as more of like a general thing, a call in July to start pulling away from things where you feel like you're making all the effort, or you're like taking on the burden of the situation and the other people involved just aren't recognizing that effort that you put in, or they're not meeting you halfway, or they're not being appreciative of the work that you do. This can be in personal relationships, it can be at work, if you start to get the feeling that maybe this job or this company isn't right for me because and being taken for granted, then this may well be recognition that that's probably the right conclusion to draw. The Growling as well also sort of points towards the dread that you feel when you need to re-enter those kinds of situations, kind of like if there's someone you really don't like at school or at work or in the family home, and you always have to see them because in that context you can't not go home, or you can't not go to school or go to work, you know. And it's like that feeling of dread as you start to walk up to the building where you know they're going to be there and they're going to, you know, make your life difficult. So I think it's when you recognize you're getting that feeling, even if it's not directed towards one particular person or anything, it could be towards a situation as a whole. Take that feeling as your confirmation that this is a situation you need to step away from. I think that's a really big realization in July for you, Group 2. Shine bright like a candle, number 36, you will make it through this. So there's a lovely message for those of you that are worried about that kind of situation, worried about how you'll ever get through to the other side. That's confirmation that you will get through to the other side. It will be okay. It might just mean some short-term pain for long-term gain, or making some difficult decisions, which then result in a longer-term happiness. But you definitely have this light to show the world, Group 2. And I feel like with the imagery that I'm picking up on in the reading, you know, we've got the night sky here, we've got Sirius there, which is also in the night sky. We've got the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the body of water. We've got the moon. It feels like at the moment your light is only shining in a kind of weak way, you know, in the way that the moon shines weakly when we compare it to the sun. It might seem huge in the night sky, but in comparison to the sun, it's very, very weak. So it's kind of like you're having to tone down what you offer to please someone else, or to placate the people around you, or to fit into a context that isn't right for your growth. You know, it's like you're trying to make yourself a square when you're a circle. So I think that really is something to think about, Group 2, because it's possibly something you've not been aware of, but I think that you're able to give so much more, and not have it be constantly sapped like this, like taken away by people who don't appreciate it. Arise, know and flow as the love you are, bliss. This is amazing. This is the activator card for this deck. It's the first one out of all of these cards, and this means the point of spiritual awakening, or the point that we become aware that we can't keep going on as we are, and that we are part of something higher. And look how you've got the dolphins swimming and rising up here, and you've got the dolphins jumping and swimming there. You've got the whales there as well, but the dolphins seem to be consistent. You might have a very strong connection to dolphins. Oh, Group 1 got this card as well. Number 20, nothing real can be threatened. How can you actively participate in creating heaven on earth? So this definitely fits with this message of like, you are able to bring so much more, but because it's being constantly disregarded or sapped or put down or made to feel lesser by other people or by the situation that you're in that isn't giving you the recognition that you need or the outcome that you need, it's not happening. You know, you're not burning as brightly as you should be. Let's get you an advice card before we move on to your charms and dice. Group 2. Advice in July. 7 of Raphael, 7 of Cups. Time to make a decision, be clear on what you want, and take action. A need for detoxification. Wow. I think that ties up everything in the reading. So detoxification, obviously, it seems like there are some difficult situations that you're in and that you become aware in July that you need to move on from. That doesn't mean that you do make that choice in July. It could be a much more gradual situation. But it's like this understanding of actually that's not in alignment with my growth, or that's not really helping me to feel like I'm becoming a better person or progressing in life. I feel like I'm being held back in the same situation where I'm not changing or growing or learning anything in any significant way. So there's this decision making, but the Seven of Cups is where we have lots of different potential paths to take. So it can be harder than just like the Two of Swords, for example, where we have to choose between two options. There's a little bit of an intertext going on with this reading and Group 1's reading, because they also got this card, but from a different deck. So there's an interesting message there. Do pay attention if any of these buckets on the card are reaching out to you. That is the chakra color that is most affected by this situation. So it could be something that you need to work on in your life. It could be something that needs your attention, something that needs to be healed. The red bucket is the root chakra. Orange is sacral chakra. The yellow one next to it is the solar plexus. Green is the heart chakra. Light blue is the throat chakra. Indigo is the third eye chakra, and then purple is the crown chakra. So if you were feeling drawn to any of those buckets, then have a look into that and see if it is affecting maybe that area of your body or the area of life that that chakra is connected to. So let's move on to your charms and dice group 2. Really interesting messages today, and you seem to have quite a lot of blues and greens in your reading. There's like a bit of a color scheme, I guess like the abalone shell, actually, iridescent blue and green. Okay, so we have the ballerina, which is like the Page of Pentacles card in the tarot. I always take that to mean moving one step at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself, just take it piece by piece and you'll get to where you need to go. We've got the worry thread here representing worries, fears, anxieties. The cactus, shutting people out, being in survival mode, not letting people get close to you or understand what's going on in your life. We have Saturn, so hard work, discipline, being aware of your limitations and the restrictions that exist within your life. We have got the past life relationship charm. So you do seem to be caught in a relationship, whether it's romantic, friendship, work relationship, family, that involves you doing everything for another person, or you always being there for someone who seems to just pick you up and drop you when they feel like it. Like it's a very one-sided relationship, regardless of what the nature of that connection is. And this is to do with past life karma. So now that you're aware of that, that might help maybe some pieces of the puzzle to fall into place for you to decide what you need to do. We have the baby tapir here. This can be about lacking in confidence when it comes to speaking up. You might struggle to advocate for yourself, maybe with this person, or maybe just at work, for example, or in other areas of your life, you kind of struggle to speak up and say what's needed. Also, the baby tapir can point towards children as well, so important children in your life or the desire to have children. We have the Russian doll, connections to Russia, people with Russian names or who speak Russian, or who work in Russia, for example, or Russian-speaking countries. It's also symbolic of bottling up your feelings, though. So I think that's going to be the most likely interpretation for most people, especially because we have the cactus, like this I don't want people to come towards me feeling. I don't want people to know what's really going on. I want to keep that to myself because it's private, or because I'm ashamed, or because I feel guilty. Yeah, I think that in some cases, honesty can be the best policy. Obviously, I'm not saying open up to all and sundry. That's probably not appropriate, and also you probably wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. But I feel like there is someone, maybe that's what this card is pointing towards, that you can open up to and who you can turn to for support and say, look, I know you have your own problems, and I know that our relationship maybe isn't always the best or the closest one, but I do kind of need someone to talk to, and this is what's going on for me. And I feel like that person will be there for you. And then your final charm is the bell, which is a lovely, lovely charm to receive, because it means that you will soon have good news to share or something to celebrate. It's something that you want to tell other people about it because it's so good. So that's positive. Let's see what your dice have to say. And we're rolling the 10th set of dice, the Scooby-Doo dice. And we're rolling 6 of them for you. Okay. So group 2. Okay, so what have we got? We have the cage here, which obviously represents feeling stuck, feeling trapped, feeling limited in some way. And I think that goes back to Saturn, where it seems like in July, you become very aware of your limitations and the things that hold you back and the things that you do struggle with. We've also got the crystal ball, divination, being aware of what you need to know. I like how this is landing on co-create with spirit, because it seems like you have this dialogue and this interchange with spirit over the month of July, where you feel like it's not just you launching prayers into the ether and never hearing back. It's like it's a genuine dialogue where you are noticing the signs, or you're getting the guidance that you need, or you're feeling like you have the assistance that will help you to take the next steps. And I think that's really lovely. Then we've got Daphne. And the thing with Daphne is, although she's a lovely character, I always note how she's so concerned with her appearance. And so I'm wondering if that's to do with this situation where you're worried about how people will think of you, or what people will say or do, or how they'll react, or what their opinion of you will be if you make certain decisions, or if you stand up for yourself, or make certain choices, or open up and show the real you. You know, the Russian doll is lovely and beautiful and painted on the outside, but there's so much within that's being concealed. And so I'm wondering if that's what's going on here a little bit, like you're sort of, you know, worried about other people's perceptions and how that would affect what's going on. We have the janitor, the caretaker, the cleaner. Always a suspicious person in Scooby-Doo. I think it can be taken in a multitude of ways because of the meaning that it has specific to Scooby-Doo. So the janitor is often quite a creepy person, or someone who ends up being involved in the whole mystery, or who at least gets suspected of that. So there is this element of like, do I trust this person, which could be going through your mind maybe with this past life connection. It also makes me think of cleaning up, though, obviously on a more general sense. If we take it out of the Scooby-Doo context, the janitor would be cleaning things up, tidying things, making it maybe fixed, better in some way. So it is like cleaning up or removing things from your life that you know can't be there anymore. And also about sort of nonchalantly getting on with your business. You know, they're sort of cleaners and janitors get on, and we often don't notice them when we're going about our day because they're doing their own thing, and it's like two parallel worlds working at the same time. So this could be about things going on, like drama in your friendship group or at work or in your family, and you just sort of get on with it, get on with your own business without getting involved with whatever it is, whatever scandal, whatever gossip is going on, and just not getting dragged into it. And I think that's quite nice if that's the case. And then your final two dice, I think, are connected. You have the super sub and also the Scooby snacks. So these are both about treats, obviously, and maybe trying to convince yourself to do something as well, because with the Scooby Snacks, it's usually an exchange for helping out or doing something brave. And I think this is a little bit to do with the co-creation with spirit. You feel like you're getting that assistance or that guidance or coaxing, even if you need a little bribe to help you move forward. It feels like you feel secure in taking those steps because you know in July that you're getting the signs you need, or you're getting, even if it's just that internal feeling of peace or that inner sense of calm or security, that's there for a reason. You know, your gut isn't telling you this is bad or I shouldn't be doing this or this is dangerous. You feel calm in taking those steps. So that's a really nice message, group 2, is knowing that in July you are making the right moves and that there is that interchange with spirit going on. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for being here. Please do like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed it, because that massively helps out my channel, and it's also a lovely way to show your appreciation for the work that I do. Please let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. I hope this has cleared some things up for you, or has given you something to look forward to maybe in July as well, or at least has given you some information so that you know what to expect. And forewarned is forearmed, as I always like to say. Do check out my description box below if you're interested in the work that I do. I have lots of links there. I've got my Patreon where I post exclusive content and I teach astrology. I also have my Etsy page for private readings and healing sessions and other services. I've got my wish lists linked below. I've got my Instagram page, and I have my PayPal if you'd like to send a tip or a donation. And there's some other links down there as well, I think. I usually just have them in for a while and I only take them out if they're not relevant anymore. So do check those out if you're interested in what I do. Thank you so much again for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day, group 2, and a lovely, lovely July. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, group 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Serpentine and the Everyday Witch Tarot, this is going to be a reading. As I said in the introduction, it's a general July reading, so we're not focused on any particular area of your life. We're just curious to see what's coming up and what we can expect. So let's see what the cards have to say. We'll start with your tarot. Group 3. So these ones fell in front of the mat. So we've got the 5 of Pentacles, followed by the King of Wands, then the 10 of Cups, lovely, and the 7 of Swords. Interesting mix of cards. They're all from different suits, which is interesting. It means you've got all different areas of your life covered. So we've got Aries, Leo, Sagittarius showing up here, all of the fire signs so far. And like I said, I can see some different things going on. So first of all, it feels like you're trying to cut back on spending in July, or like you're very aware of money that's going out of your account. You're very aware of the cost of living, which I know is obviously really increased for a lot of people recently. It feels like there's just a little bit of money worries with the 5 of Pentacles being there. The 7 of Swords is also suggesting that there is a feeling of distrust towards someone, or that I just heard the word reservations, so holding back on sharing with someone some reservations that you have. Now, I don't know what this is. Obviously it's going to be different for everyone because this can fit a lot of people's situations, but if I was to give an example, the feeling I'm getting is that you're going to do something with someone and you can kind of envisage the problems, or you can see how it would be difficult, or that there would be things that wouldn't be enjoyable, but because you don't want to upset that person, or maybe that person is really sensitive or has had a tough time recently and is just really excited about this thing, you don't want to share those reservations because it's like bursting their bubble and it would feel like you're kicking a puppy or something when you know, it's like sharing that would really, really hurt them, and you don't want to do that. So you're holding back your reservations. Maybe you're doing something just for the sake of them and not for you. Like, this is not the usual vibe I get from the Seven of Swords, because normally this is about lying or suspicious behavior. I don't get that with this card. Honestly, I feel like you might be lying by omission by not telling someone something, but you're not doing it to deceive them. You're doing it because you don't want to hurt them, and you're hoping that the whole situation will just work out well. So, you know, whatever it is, it's like you're doing it for good reasons, or you're doing it for the sake of someone else, because they're so excited or they want to move forward with this, and you don't want to point out the flaws or talk about the things that you're going to find difficult with this arrangement because you don't want to hurt or upset them. So that's definitely a factor. Then we have these two lovely cards, the King of Wands and Ten of Cups. So it feels like in July you are really focused on the long-term vision. With the King of Wands, you are making long-term plans. You are clearly seeing how your life will hopefully be unfolding over the next few months and years. It's like you can see, this is where I want to be in 5 years time, for example, and this is how I'm going to work towards it. This is my current position. That's where I want to be. What are the steps in between it? And the Ten of Cups shows me that you're spending really lovely time with the people you care about. So there could be holidays, there could be trips to visit family, there could be picnics, as we see on this card, meetups, parties, restaurant visits with loved ones, coffee visits to catch up with people you care about. It just feels like there's a lot of time being spent catching up with people or having really quality time with people, which is really, really nice. So let's move on to your oracle cards. It's a really interesting start to your reading because there's good points and bad points, but it feels like the bad points are more sort of like worries, or they're more like things that are in your head or to do with your perspective, rather than like this terrible thing has happened or this awful person is in your life. They feel more like worries or mental obstacles than physical things, if that makes sense. They're more internal than external. Okay, from the lovely new Yogic Path Oracle, we have the card Sattva. I'm going to read the guidebook entry for that card. Pretty sure Sattva is all about purity. I think I pulled this one recently. Yeah, purity and clarity. You've let go of the things that were holding you back and are reaching deeper levels of clarity. Maybe you've cleaned up your diet, home, self-care products, relationships, thought patterns, career goals, or life outlook, and are now experiencing the joys that come with purity. Sattva. The space you've created is allowing greater gifts that are more aligned with your truth to present themselves. Continue on this path towards clarity by shedding all that is no longer serving you. When your body becomes pure, your thoughts and life will reflect that. Bring Sattva, purity, into all that you do, and your path will continue to become more clear. So that's an interesting one. I'm wondering if you've recently shaken up your routine a little bit, or if that's going to be something that you engage in July. So when I say shake up your routine, I mean things like trying to cut down on eating processed foods, or trying to cut down on unhealthy foods, maybe certain types of foods and drinks. Maybe you're trying to drink no alcohol or less alcohol. Maybe you are implementing a really strict like self-care routine every single day, like skincare, hair care, etc. Maybe you've changed the way that you treat and style your hair. Or you've started other little rituals like making sure you paint your nails every day. You know, it could be something like this, I think, where you've decided, this is what I'm going to do now. So. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. I think this definitely can also speak to skincare, hair care routines. Maybe some of you going on holiday, and that's what the Ten of Cups is showing if you're going with loved ones. Starseed, what lights you up? This is really nice. So Group 3, you're probably a starseed having received that card. But this is also saying that in July, you're going to be doing things that you really enjoy and kind of putting that as a priority. So treating yourself, maybe that's where the money worries are coming in. You think you're overindulging a little bit, but it seems like you're being given the go-ahead to do this. Like it's okay to overindulge, or it's okay to treat yourself, because it feels like for whatever reason, Group 3, you deserve it. Maybe you've recently been working really hard and you're choosing now to focus on what you enjoy and what has meaning for you. Geburt, number 70, birth. And benutzt werden, number 5, being used. So maybe you have felt recently like you've been taken for granted and like people have used you and haven't appreciated the work that you've done. Birth suggests this replenishment that we've mentioned, this new beginning, this, I guess, purity, like the Sattva card. Could literally mean that someone close to you or you yourself is having a baby soon. There is a little baby in a cot on this card, the 10 of Cups. Ancestral realm, karmic release, healing the lineage, boundaries. Yeah, so family is a big theme in July. And kind of working through family issues, being aware of things that maybe happened in your childhood, the future lines of the family, like I mentioned with birth, bringing the family together. Whoa, that was very quick. Okay, that was 2 cards. So number 1 is actually number 2. I wonder what will happen next. Ready to adventure, precipice of change, pause before action. So adventure, that definitely holds true if you're traveling or if you're investing in doing things that you enjoy, like maybe some kind of activity that you've always wanted to try but you've never done. Pause before action. Maybe that represents how you've had a period of hard work and now you're having a break and then you're having the hard work again. And then you have number 24, use your time well, make every moment count. So really enjoy and savor the time that you have in July, because it might be that you soon get into the hard work again. Two love messages for July. You have give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership, and also free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. So maybe this is to do with being a little bit more selfish. Maybe you can still have a great relationship with someone without always doing what they want to do or always feeling like you're sacrificing your preferences for them. Maybe you've been a little too giving or kind in your relationship. Maybe you are always quick to forgive or quick to move on from things when other people wouldn't be. Maybe you always go with what your partner wants to do and now it's time for you to put yourself first. But that doesn't mean that you have to end the relationship. You know, it's just changing the dynamic slightly or laying down the law a little bit more. I think that's where this boundaries card comes in. This part of this card that I didn't feel was connected to the family message, so I didn't mention it because it seemed like the time with your loved ones is going to be joyous. But interestingly, this card has cut off all of this card's words except for the word boundaries. So it does feel like maybe you're being clearer in your romantic relationships about what you will need from them or what needs to change in order for you to be happy. Spider spirit, make your dreams real, number 56, that's lovely. The ability to work towards what it is that you want to achieve and bring into reality. That definitely fits with the King of Wands as well. I think that you're going to be spending a lot of time, because you're sort of enjoying yourself in July and you're not buried mentally in work, you're having more time to relax. It does definitely seem like you're going on holiday or that you're taking a break from work, or maybe it's the summer holidays and you're still in education, so you have that time to yourself. But it feels like because you're not mentally burdened by work, you're spending a lot of time thinking about what you want and about your future and about your dreams and goals and how you can get closer to them, which is really nice, group 3. Divine Masculine, number 4, rise of true gentle power, true strength. That's a lovely card. So healing your inner masculine and possibly also working with the Divine Masculine in your life in the ways that he represents himself. This could also be to do with father figures, because we've got the ancestral lineage card, healing father issues. Trust your faith, dive into the unfolding journey. What is your faith asking of you? Number 17, I love that. The desert imagery and the roses and the crystals. There's that adventure message. Being asked to trust that it will be okay without necessarily being given all of the proof. Closing your eyes and trusting. And your advice for July, Group 3, is King of Michael, King of Swords. Principled, rational, ambitious, respected. Wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity. A situation that calls for honest and open communication. So this is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And again, it seems like you're very focused on what you need. And that's okay. I genuinely think, given the cards that I've seen here today, that you are someone who's very kind and very giving. Maybe you don't really like conflict, so you try to always diffuse a situation before it gets to an argument or a I'm right, you're not kind of situation. And it feels like I don't see anything to suggest like abuse in the relationship. I just feel like you think it's getting a bit one-sided, or I always seem to be the person who's making the concessions, and I want this now. So the 7 of Swords, I think, is what you haven't been talking about, the things that you've held on to. You haven't wanted to tell someone, these are my reservations, or I worry that this will happen if we do this thing that you really want us to do, or this is how I'm actually feeling and it's not 100% positive with regards to our relationship or this situation. And the King of Swords is where you then feel comfortable to say those things and to not frame it in a really emotional way, but just to say them in a factual way and to have honesty and truth, and then work through what that brings up for both of you. So really interesting message there. And it doesn't have to be a romantic thing either. It could be that you've been holding your tongue a lot at work, that you haven't been telling a family member what you really think of them, and now's the time to really open up. It could be an issue in a friendship where you feel like it's getting one-sided and that needs to be addressed. Take this how that resonates with you, Group 3. But let's move on to your charms, and then we will do your dice as well. So we have the Helmet, going through a difficult time but being more than prepared to deal with it, having everything that you need to get yourself through it. The Earth Elemental, so Earth Elementals are around you at this time. They're telling you it's fine to be different. You don't have to do what other people do. You don't have to enjoy what other people enjoy. Find your own path to happiness, basically. And if someone tries to tell you, well, other people would be fine with this, then you know you've got to speak your mind and be clear that you're not other people. We've got the Chilies, passion and excitement, adventure, intimacy, all of those things that I could see reflected in the reading. The crown, this is so important because there's the King of Michael wearing his crown, and this is what this connects to, this decision making based upon what you want and not what other people want you to do. Sovereignty, respecting your autonomy. If you have been holding on to things because you feel like it would be unkind to air them and like it might put someone off, I think it's important that you do let them know if you have issues or reservations or worries, just so that it's more of a level playing field, basically, because it feels like you're always making compromises or agreeing to things for their sake or doing things so that they don't get upset. And really, it's important that that your needs are respected, because I feel like even if it's not an abusive situation, whether it's romantic, family, friends, etc., there's still been situations in the past where you feel like your needs or your preferences have been completely ridden over by this person because they wanted something different, or they wanted to do something their way, and they would rather like ask for forgiveness later rather than ask for permission beforehand, you know? And I think you've been very forgiving of that, but really it's hurt you. We've got the gear here, which is landing on the ancestral realm card, the message about the ancestral lineages and the healing of that and the karmic releases and boundaries. When a gear lands on something, it means that that thing is already in motion or is already happening for you. So this is something you're already starting to address. You're really thinking about family patterns, family issues, relationship problems within the family context, and you're wondering, how can I rectify that, or what does this mean for me? We've got the key here as well, new beginnings, solving problems, opening doors, releasing blockages. Let's do your dice. Okay, we're rolling the third set of dice for you. The third set of dice for group 3, that's nice. And those are the mystery dice. So, that's a 1, so I'm going to roll again. Ooh, 6. We're going to roll 6 dice for you. Group 3. Okay, group 3. So we have got the siren, which is a bit like a red flag for me. It's when something is like blaring in your face, like this is what you need to know. Sometimes it's not drawing your attention to danger though. Sometimes it can just be like a gut feeling, or it can be the universe giving you a sign, or it can be you pointing or being pointed in a certain direction by life. So it's not always a bad thing, but it's just when you become aware of something and it suddenly seems like glaringly obvious. We have the spider's web, which is interesting because it's landing near this card that you've got about the spider. The spider's web for me is about feeling trapped or stuck. So it does feel like you're maybe being pushed into a situation that you'd rather not be in, but you don't want to share those feelings because you're worried about someone being upset. We've got the tentacles wrapping around the door here, just like the tip of the iceberg. When we're not seeing the full situation, we're just seeing the surface issue, which could be because you're not sharing things, or it could be pointing towards something else where you feel like a situation runs deeper than what you know about. Judgment, decision making, the gavel. We've got the it's like a reader or antennae sort of thing where you're feeling something out, searching for something, trying to gauge how someone's feeling, trying to guess when would be the right time to raise this. And then the candle, hope, a fresh start, light. Really like that. And it's sort of come full circle as though I've done like a clockwise view of your dice, and I've just been drawn to the clock on this as well. Using your time wisely. Remember that, group 3. That's going to be important in July. Really savor the moment. When I say use your time wisely, not like counting down the days and being like, oh no, I've only got 10 days of my holiday left, but just enjoying the time and enjoying the fact that your mind doesn't need to be focused on other people's issues or on work or on other tasks, and you can just enjoy what needs to be enjoyed, you know, the things that are there purposefully for you to enjoy them. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, group 3. I hope it made sense to you. Please let me know in the comments what you thought, because I would love to hear from you and I'd love to hear how it resonated. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the video as well. That massively helps me out, and it also means that you never miss out whenever I post a new video. Check out my description box below if you're interested in the work that I do. I've got my Etsy page linked below for private readings and healing sessions and other services that I offer. I have my Patreon page linked as well, where I teach astrology and I post exclusive content over there. I've got my wish lists below. I also have my PayPal link for tips and donations if anyone would like to leave anything. That would be very much appreciated. And I also have my Instagram and just a load of other links if you're interested. Check them out. I always keep them there, and sometimes I add to them as well when I get something new to offer. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and of course a lovely July. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.